what is exactly my background that makes me go, yeah, I want to dive back into this. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Tiffany. That's not really something that's utilized here often, but my name is Tiffany. I was a certified personal trainer for 6 months. And before that, I had a kid. And so, I was always kind of active, but not really. I didn't do sports. I am not somebody who ever did sports. I got my PE credit by doing ROTC, and I was also on wrestling team in high school. Other than that, I didn't play any sports. So as an adult, I had no behavior patterns where I was active very often. I've always been just kind of naturally strong, which was great, but not athletic at all. After I had my kid, after about 6 months, I realized that I couldn't say I just had a kid anymore, and I had a bunch of weight to lose because I actually weighed more after having my kid than I did the day I delivered her. And I saw that as a problem. So I started taking my health seriously. I started with very small things, like the Wii had come out around that time. So, you could stand in front of your television and play games where you jumped around. That did not work. Shocking. I know. I got a gym membership and I started going to the gym every day when my husband went to work. And sometimes I got there before the childcare opened. I would sit there and talk to the lady in the childcare area for hours, but I would do maybe 20 minutes on the elliptical, which was 20 minutes more than I would have done if I was at home. And then I started researching information and trying to find workouts to do because I had no idea what I was doing. I started learning and teaching myself as much as I could, and very quickly that turned into big time research. And then it turned out that my husband, years before, had actually purchased a personal training certification course along with the textbook that he hadn't used. And so I went ahead and started reading out of that textbook, and then I utilized that credit and went ahead and took the class and got certified as a personal trainer. Now, during that time, I continued to work out, continued to push myself, and so I ended up losing 60 pounds within that 6 to 7 month period. So losing a good amount of weight. I wasn't even at my goals yet when I went and got certified as a personal trainer. Some of the marketing stuff I put out of myself when I first became a certified personal trainer, I didn't even feel like I was really ready yet. But I just went ahead and did it anyway. Within 2 weeks, I got my first client. I started doing boot camps and everything so that more people could get access to, working out. And it just kind of snowballed from there. I stayed certified as a personal trainer for 6 years. I also taught boot camp during that entire time. And then everything kind of started to fall apart. As life has, tended to do. So my house flooded. So I got flooded the year before Harvey with 3 feet, and then I got flooded the year of Harvey with 5 feet. And because of all that kind of stuff going on, I did not keep up with my continuing education for the certification as a personal trainer. So I lost my certification, which is a huge bummer. Then a couple years later, fast forward, I attempted to get my certification again, but they do things differently now. Kids these days, everything's electronic. So I tried to go online and take the certification course, and it was not allowing me to take the course, and I have no idea what was going on. And I tried contacting the help desk and everything, but it was after hours. So yeah, it just kind of fell to the wayside. That doesn't mean that I ever stopped doing research or ever stopped looking up information as much as possible. I have continued to be interested in health and wellness for years. Now, what happened? Essentially, I don't know. I don't know what happened to me. I was putting my body through the ringer for quite a while. I was working out 6 days a week, sometimes twice a day. And then I was put on a regimen of 900 calories a day. Yeah. So anybody who knows anything about nutrition, this is not a good thing. What was happening is I was being put through different carb cycles. I was being put on restricted calories so that they could try to kind of dry me out to get ready for magazine shoots. But my entire system shut down. So I literally had to call up the guy I was training with at the time who had put me on this 900 calorie regimen to let him know I wasn't coming in to train that day. And he asked why, and I just kind of told him my pants don't fit. I ended up gaining 30 pounds in a very short period of time. We're talking 1 to 2 months. And so I went to my doctor, asked for a bunch of blood tests. My body has gone through a whole lot over the past few years. All of the weight that I lost was then regained in a very short amount of time. Then I found out that I have PCOS. I also found out I have literally zero thyroid function whatsoever. My adrenal system was pretty much done. What exactly triggered this? I don't have a definite answer. And that is something that still bothers me to this day. So that's kind of what's making me sit here and go, no, I really want to figure this out. Yes, I'm about to turn 40. That age is soon approaching. So I do want to figure this kind of stuff out. I want to be able to understand my body. I know that the system changes, obviously, as you age, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't function at all, right? Like, I'm still up and doing stuff. So what is it that caused my body to immediately want to go back and gain some weight? I don't know, but I want to figure this mess out. That's kind of what we're doing here. I have several different things that I'm trying to utilize while learning as much as I can. I started doing yoga a few months back. I have delved back into researching for all this because one thing I have absolutely learned for certain through this entire journey is that if you want to learn anything about your health, you have to be your number one advocate and you have to do the research, because as much as we want to put our faith and our hopes into doctors doing all of this work for us, bottom line is they have hundreds of patients, sometimes thousands. They deal with weird cases all the time. So when you approach them with something simple like, I don't know why I'm gaining weight, I mean, it makes sense why one guy literally thought I didn't know how much I was eating when I was measuring every single thing I ate at the time. And I was still a person where I'm like, this is my job. This is what I do. I know exactly what I eat. I know what time I eat. I know exactly what workouts I'm doing. I was working with a nutritionist. Like, I had all the numbers. And then another doctor suggested that I get a gastric sleeve. When I honestly, seriously considered it, I knew there was something very, very wrong. So it's stuff like that where I know that I'm not the only one going through this. I know that there are hundreds and thousands of you out there going through very similar things. I know that every single case is unique. However, we all have a lot of overlapping things happening to us, and you are not alone. And that's the biggest thing to understand. You're not alone. There are others out there who totally get it and are just as frustrated as you are. I'm one of those. Let's delve into it. Let's figure it out. Let's do the homework. Let's do the research. Let's learn what we can about ourselves when we do go to the doctor to say, here's the information, and have a more full scope of information to be able to present so that they have a better understanding of what they're dealing with. The few minutes we get with a doctor, it's nothing compared to what we deal with every single day. And that's one of the other things. You know your body better than anybody else. You've been living in that body your entire life, literally. So anytime somebody tries to tell you something and you're like, that doesn't quite sound right because that doesn't feel right with what I've experienced, stand up for that. You're the one who knows what feels normal and what doesn't. I don't know if I need to start doing the Pep Talk Tuesdays again for you guys and start giving you mother pep talks where I need to come in and be like, you have to do this for you kind of thing. But if you want Pep Talk Tuesdays again, let me know. I mean, this is me doing a bunch of research. So like I said, I'm paying attention to everything that I'm doing. I'm making sure that I pay attention to my eating. As I'm doing research, I'm tweaking little by little. So I've got a lot of things in the works that you guys are going to be seeing. Some of the books that I'm dealing with, because I'm very much a research kind of person. I love doing research. The books are really helpful. Some of the books that I've picked up recently, let me show you guys. One of them is The 4-Hour Body. This is by Tim Ferriss. Very well-known book, very well-known guy. He was big on the whole industry a long time ago. Never really went away though. Obviously, I want to delve into that information, and especially if somebody's written a book about how you only have to spend 4 hours kind of working on your body for the week and everything's fine. Why would I not look into that? Continuing on, there's also a book called How Not to Die. Yeah, it sounds simple enough, right? Like, it's just how not to die, which sounds lovely. And it's Discover the Foods Scientifically Proven to Prevent and Reverse Disease. This is by Michael Greger. Greger? I don't know. I'm going to mispronounce things because it's not an audio version. This is a thick one. It's chunky, but it's filled with a lot of information. And so apparently also it is categorized by type of food and type of disease as well. So that'll be interesting. I haven't read this yet, so we'll dive into that at some point. Now, I have read this next one, but I do want to dive back into it and get more notes out of it. So this one is called Spark. This was actually suggested to me by a friend of mine. A great book, especially if you have kids. Absolutely amazing. And this is The Revolutionary New Science of Exercise and the Brain, and it's by John J. Ratey with Eric Hagerman. Definitely check this out. Like I said, I have read this before. So my friend actually allowed me to read her copy of this. I knew I needed to get my own copy because there was stuff that I wanted to mark up in it. I'm that person who I write in my books, y'all. Guilty. But it's how I get the most out of them. And easy to read. If you want something that's easy to read, that's not like super duper scientific, that walks you through it, definitely check out that. Then, of course, I've shown you guys that I'm reading The Hormone Cure. This is great, especially for kind of starting to delve into that self-discovery of understanding how your body functions and what your body needs, because you jump around in this. You don't read it from cover to cover. Definitely diving farther into that and checking out the appendix section. And then two of my most recent books that I got. This one is called Adrenal Transformation Protocol, a 4-week plan to release stress symptoms and go from surviving to thriving by Isabella Wentz. So this one I recently got because your adrenals help your entire body function. I figured, let's check this out. Then also to be able to start understanding what different people suggest, what ideas overlap, which ones everybody goes off on their separate tangents with. I like figuring all this out. And then finally, I got a book called Chronic, The Hidden Cause of the Autoimmune Epidemic and How to Get Healthy Again. Like I mentioned, I have PCOS and like no functioning thyroid. This sounded really interesting. And I have to say, y'all, I started reading this the other day. I am already page 20 and there are tons of notes in this, and it did not go in the direction I expected. Information I did not think I was gonna find was in here, which is crazy kind of stuff. And the crazier thing is that it makes sense. I'm utilizing all of these books as well as watching the Huberman podcast. If you haven't heard of Andrew Huberman, I don't know what rock you've been under, but he's got a podcast. He's a professor. He leads this podcast based on some of the ideas and concept that he has researched, and then he does interviews with people in specific fields to dig deeper into some topics, which has been very intriguing. So if you didn't see my video that I did watching his video with Sarah Gottfried, who wrote The Hormone Cure, right? Make sure you check out that video up in the card, because that was intriguing and there were some fun facts in there that I had no idea about. Which is what's the weirdest thing while doing a bunch of this research, is that you find out information about your body you were never told. Why were we never told about some of this? I don't understand. I went to public school, like I'm assuming many of you have done. It doesn't matter how many health classes we go to, they never actually talks about health. And why did we only learn about puberty? What's up with that? Why didn't we actually learn about like real legitimate health in the area that it even goes like towards science? And so, I mean, like this could have been an amazing class that was given to, and we never got that mess ever. As adults, no, I'm having to figure this out. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And you guys get to get the Cliff's Notes version on the videos. I've been through a lot of mess. One of the books that I will not be utilizing that I know some people are going to mention is because I have read most of this book, and I can tell you I will not use this book. I guess I should. Let me know if you want me to reference this book. The Body Keeps the Score. If you haven't heard about this book, it's just like if you haven't heard about Andrew Huberman, what rock have you been under? This book has gotten a ton of people saying, oh my goodness, you have to read this, especially if you dealt with trauma of any kind. And oh honey, I've dealt with some trauma. So this book has been suggested, and let me just say, unless you are someone who works in the field of helping people who've been through trauma, I don't suggest you read this book, honestly, because it is an extremely triggering book. It will remind you of every single iota of trauma you have been through. But it's kind of like when you took DARE as a teenager and all they did was like tell you what all the drugs did, and then all the kids started doing drugs. It has the opposite effect. Do you see what I'm saying? It puts the attention on that one thing, and so that's where you start focusing. Stay away from The Body Keeps the Score. Just know you've got a lot of health issues that probably need to be dealt with. That's the Cliff's Notes version of that book. I know that's going to be controversial. This is my experience. This is my feedback from what I've been through, and that's what I'm going to say. So there you go. It is what it is. Too old to care. These are the books that I'm going to be utilizing. I still work out. I still eat healthy, the whole ordeal, and we're going to see if these kinds of things influence how I start handling this whole health thing, because, you know, the more you know. If you're ready to dive into this mess with me, let's do it. And I'll see you guys on the next video.